I love to have quiet time in the morning, a nice cup of tea, time to read my Bible in the quiet, and just time to gather my thoughts and wake up properly before everybody else gets up. Before getting breakfast this morning, I need to get this focaccia rising. It's been in the fridge overnight and now it needs to rise so it's nice and puffy and bubbly, and I can bake it later for lunch. Now my family are starting to wake up, so I need to get breakfast going. I usually only make breakfast for myself and for my two younger children. So today they're having some ham that I'm frying up in the frying pan with some eggs that I'm just going to really quickly scramble. They love scrambled eggs, so they're really going to enjoy this. Most of our breakfasts are served with this whole wheat bread, which I like to toast, and then I especially like it when it's got lots of salted butter on it. Come and get your breakfast, boys. Now, when it comes to my own breakfast, I have to say I could probably do a better job and choose some healthier options. But what I really enjoy in the morning is toast with salted butter and cheese. I just think that's absolutely delicious. I do sometimes have yogurt with fruit and nuts, or granola if I've made some of that. That's really good too, but I have to say cheese in the morning is just something I really enjoy. But maybe you've got some different ideas of what I could have for breakfast. Why don't you leave them in the description box below, and maybe I can change things up a bit. This cheese is from my husband's home county in the east of France. It's called Comté, and it really is the best cheese. So delicious. I absolutely love it. And I do like to serve it with a little bit of fruit, which I forgot to put on my plate straight away. So I'm just going to have some grapes with this to make it a little bit healthier. Now, once the children are off at school and doing their different activities, I'm getting on and baking this focaccia. So I'm dimpling it here, and then I'm going to bake it and serve it as a sandwich for lunch. So before I head out to pick up the children, I'm going to get lunch ready. Now today's Wednesday, and Wednesday is a funny day in France. It's the day when the children don't have school, when they're in primary school, and they have all of their activities, so sports, music, and all of that kind of thing. So on a Wednesday morning, I have one little one that heads out to English school, where he learns to read and write in English. And then the others who are a bit older, they do have school but only in the morning, so they are all home for lunch. And today I'm making a chicken focaccia sandwich. So I made this focaccia in last week's video, so if you want to go back and look at how I made that in last week's video, I will put a link up above. And I'm going to cut it in half and fill it with chicken, some garlic mayonnaise that I made yesterday, a little bit of balsamic dressing, and some salad or some tomatoes depending on who is eating it. So I will pop these in the fridge then, and they'll be ready for when we all get home from our different activities. Now, I don't love sandwiches, but this was amazing. I really enjoyed it. The mayonnaise, the balsamic vinegar, it all went together so well and was really delicious. And I can't wait to have homegrown tomatoes to put on sandwiches in just a little while. Tonight's dinner is a really simple one. It's a French classic called horse steak. Now don't worry, we are not eating horse. I have no idea why it's called this, but horse steak is basically a burger, just an unseasoned burger with a fried egg on top. It's really good, really tasty, and I just fancied that tonight. We don't have it very often, and it just sounded really good tonight. So we're having that, and we're having it with some oven chips that I'm making myself. And for my boys that don't eat potatoes, I've made these vegetable chips, so just courgette and carrots that I'm going to roast in the oven. and they will enjoy having those. And maybe I will give them a treat and let them have a little bit of ketchup too. I love roasting vegetables in the oven, especially potatoes. And when I cut them up like this, everybody thinks they're getting chips or fries. So everybody's really happy with this. All I do is cut them into the shape that I like. So I like chunky chips. I don't really like extra fine ones. So we like to have them quite chunky, almost potato wedges really. Then I drizzle them with olive oil, sprinkle them with salt, and bake them in the oven for about half an hour. It can sometimes take a little bit longer depending on how big you cut your potatoes and your vegetables, so just keep an eye on it. And it's a good idea to stir your vegetables about halfway through, so after 15 minutes, just to make sure that they're all evenly baked. Now, burgers in France are completely different to how they are in England. Now, I don't know about the States, maybe you can tell me, but in France, they are basically just minced or ground beef made into a burger shape, so no seasoning whatsoever. They're quite thick, and most French families will cook them only partially, so they'll still be pink in the middle. Now, I do prefer to have them cooked all the way through because I know that ground beef can sometimes contain quite a lot of bacteria, so I like to cook them all the way through. But I also like to season them myself, so with some salt and with some herbs. It adds so much flavour, and I know exactly what's going into it, so I really like doing it this way. These burgers take about 15 minutes to cook through, and I'll turn them halfway through and put a bit extra salt and other seasonings on the other side too, just to make sure that they're well seasoned all the way through. And now it's time to fry the eggs for my horse steak. I like to keep the yolk runny when I fry eggs because it makes a delicious sauce, especially for a meal like this that can be a bit dry. So I put them on quite a high heat with some oil or with butter, and then I'll add a bit of salt onto the yolks and just let that cook for a few minutes so that the yolk stays runny but the white is completely cooked. This is a delicious meal full of protein, full of vegetables, but it feels like a treat. So I'll definitely be doing this again. Thank you for joining me today in my kitchen. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment too. I always love to hear from you. I'll see you next time. Bye.